This is the next stage of the knife making. They are all cut out. As you can see, that's got a bit scuffed on the front there, but that'll come off in the next on this stage. So they're all there, and basically what I'm using is a normal 3-inch belt sander inverted in and clamped into a small sort of timber vise, woodworking vise. So what we need to do is get a reasonably fine belt, fine grip belt. Something about a 150 would probably be alright, 120, 150 for this stage. That's an 80. That's a 120. As you can tell, that's going to be quite noisy as well, so I'll do the same as I did with the belt grinder on the other side there. Oh yeah, also when I mentioned about grinding inside the curves on the belt grinder, I showed you sort of moving it down that way, but that belt grinder turns this way, so that's quite a bad idea because it could catch the tip and fire the knife down. But on this one it turns that way, so that's how I use it, run it down across the edge. So you don't need to worry too much about that edge, as long as that bottom portion is smooth, because this will get ground to an edge, a knife edge anyway on that one, so it will be running along the edges like that, over all of the sides, like that, just to smooth it all off. And then what I'm going to do is drill the holes out, and then we'll be running on the face. So I shall do that now. Well, yep, I think I've got everything sorted. It may be a good idea to have a jug of water just behind, so you can dip the blade in if it gets hot, but this shouldn't get it that hot because you're not sort of grinding much off of the blade at all, you're only smoothing the edges. Okay, so I'll get all the bits together that I need. I'm pretty much sorted, but I'll just make sure I've got safety specs and things, and I'll get on with that. Now all of these parts are done as much as I can on the sander there. As you can see, it's taken out all of the lines. Not sure if you can see that. See if we can get that to focus in a bit. Taking out all of the lines that were going across the narrow edge. What I've got to do is get inside these smaller radiuses, or radii I suppose is the right term. So what I've used is a Dremel with a small sanding drum on it, just to get inside those and tidy those up. And also I'll be doing that for the inside of this one, because with these little sort of pointy parts that poke down, there's no way of sanding that on a flat edge, so I'll have to run round it with this. So obviously the smaller the diameter the better you can, because it will get into the corners a bit better without rounding out the corners. But this is, as far as I know, this is the smallest drum that Dremel make. I think it's supposed to be a 1/4 inch, but it looks a bit bigger than that to me. But so yeah, I'll get on with that, and then we can get on with the drilling part of it. Now all these the edges have been well, not that part because they're getting ground down, as I said before, but all these edges have been smoothed off, so there's no lines going across the narrow edge. It's all following the, I suppose, the grain of the steel. We've got to mark the holes out for drilling. Now the three I have, well, those 5, because they're all made from templates like these. I've marked all the pin holes and tube holes into the templates, so all I've got to do is lay that on the blade and then mark through it with a pen. And once they're marked, I use an automatic punch. If I can find it, you'll have to excuse the mess in here. There's lots of projects that have been going on and still in the process of going on, as well as organising in here. So that's an automatic punch. If you're not sure what one is, basically when you push down, just like place it where you want the indentation, push down, and it will click, and that click will give it enough momentum to punch a little divot in the steel. So what I shall do is, sorry for getting in the way of the camera here, but not a huge amount of room in the workshop for a tripod and camera, so that's, oops, line that up again. That's the template on the blade. Mark the holes through there. Then you'll see 4 small, well, I'm not sure if you can see that, but where are we? There are 4 small black dots on there. Then, oops, key. Then use the automatic punch, placing it carefully where the mark is on each one. Give the punch. There we go. If the punch works. This one's seen quite a lot of use, so it's starting to lose its click. There we go, and hopefully you'll be able to see the holes or the marks, indentations, whatever on there. Maybe not. Not sure. As I say, the screen on this camera is broken, so I have no idea what you can and can't see with this. But there's basically exactly the same as using a handheld punch, and it will leave the marks in there, and that will just help you locate the where the hole needs to be when you drill it, and sort of reduce the chances of the drill bit skidding around on the surface should it feel like it wants to. For the drilling, I use cobalt bits. All of these take a 6mm or quarter inch pin, so I use a 6.5mm drill bit, which will allow for either size pin, 6mm or quarter inch, to be used in it. It doesn't really matter too much if the size is not quite spot on, as long as it's over rather than under, for the tang, because once the scales being put on, it's the holes in the scales that need to be the closest match, because the adhesive will seep through the gap around the pin, like between the tang and the pin, and help bond through anyway, but so that will all be hidden, if that makes sense. So what I'll do is I'll move this onto the pillar drill, and with this drill bit in, and start drilling. Obviously I'll mark the other ones first though, so I'll join you when it comes to the drilling. Those are all marked now, so what we're going to do is start drilling them. Use a pillar drill, if you've got one, that is, because it will help keep the holes sort of perpendicular to the workpiece. What I also do is I use a bit of WD-40 to cool the bit down as well, the drill bit, and the steel. Like, mark it first, start the hole off, spray a bit of this on, carry on drilling through, maybe spray it a couple of times, depends how easy it's going through really. I mean 3mm stuff you can normally get away with going through and with just a squirt, maybe 2. 4mm takes a couple more squirts, but yeah, that's basically it. You want as low a speed as you can as your drill will go down to. I'm not sure what this one what the speed rating is on this one. 600 RPM I think, with the slowest. Obviously they differ between different drills, but the slower the better. Just helps reduce the heat build up in that, because as soon as the drill bit gets too hot it will lose its hardness and temper, which will blunt it really fast, and then it won't do anything. Not even sharpening it again will rescue it from once it's lost its temper. Okay, so I'll get on with doing that. Okay, now all of these are now drilled out with a 6.5mm pinholes. So next is the lanyard holes. Now most of the time the lanyard tubing that gets used with these is this one here, which is 5/16 of an inch, which is 7.94mm. So an 8mm drill bit, which is in there at the moment, is just about enough for that to go through. So and this stuff is commonly available, this stuff from model shops, so that's not a problem at all. So I'll change the drill bit, same principle. I mean, I've already marked the holes, drill all of those out, and then after that what I'm going to do is drill out some sort of, I suppose adhesive holes, I suppose you'd call them, just to allow the adhesive to soak through from one side to the other and help bond the scales on a bit better, reduce the chances of them coming off at all. So I'll get on and drill those out, and join you again when it comes to the grinding of the edge on the profile, grinding of the bevel rather. So okay.